You've tuned into another edition of The Break Room, a weekly conversation about how the City of St. Augustine works from those who do the work every day. Hosted by the City of St. Augustine's Communications Director, Melissa Wissel, The Break Room offers a closer look at the different city departments and provides updates on current and upcoming projects and events. And now, your host, Melissa Wissel.
Welcome to The Break Room. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Melissa Wissel, Communications Director for the City of St. Augustine. This week on The Break Room, we are again going to continue our conversation about hurricane season. I've invited St. Johns County Emergency Management Deputy Director Kelly Wilson to come back and continue a conversation. Quite frankly, we just didn't have enough time last time.
We didn't. There's so much to talk about hurricane preparedness.
You started to say, it was literally like in the last 15 seconds. You're like, and if we didn't get to talk about it. Let's talk about Alert St. John's.
Yes. So Alert St. John's is our alerting program here in St. Johns County. What Alert St. John's is it is how we will, you may have remembered way back how we alerted you with something called Code Red.
Right.
This is our newer program. So what we try to explain to people, if you signed up for it more than 2 years ago, we need you to come back and sign up. The way you'll do that is you can go to our website, sjcemergencymanagement.com, and you will see the Alert St. John's logo right up top on that webpage. And you click on it and you create yourself an account. You will receive public safety alerts. Excuse me. What you will be able to get is if we were to order an evacuation, if there is sometimes a water break, our utilities folks use it to advise of boil water notices. They advise of missing people. If we have someone missing, they have used that in the past to try and locate missing people. They're anything to do with public safety, any sort of evacuations or public safety messages. But what you will also have is the opportunity to sign up for weather alerting.
Oh.
Yeah. And this is 100% up to you. And I'm going to give you a couple warnings. I mean, You can sign up for anything from coastal flood advisories to hurricane watches and warnings. You pick and choose which ones you would like. You also get to pick and choose, do you want to receive it via email, via text message, or via phone call? Many folks sign up both their businesses, their homes, and their cell phones. And you can even set quiet time. So I don't want to hear these alerts between 10 and 6 a.m.
Okay.
Public safety alerts, no matter what, you're going to get. But what I did tell some folks is they started getting a whole lot of severe thunderstorm watches.
Right.
So in the summer, we go under a lot of those. So you may only want warnings because warnings mean that weather is imminent to you. Okay. Sometimes coastal flood advisories can go on for weeks when we have if we have a nor'easter with a really good full moon high tide.
Yes.
Those coastal flood advisories get updated every day. So every time you will get a new alert. So just think about the things that you're really interested in before you sign up for those alerts. But they're very, very helpful.
Very helpful. And if anybody signed up for the vaccines, was that a different alert though?
It was. There's something called, it doesn't matter, it's called a Nixle, but it's a text alert.
Right,
okay?
only.
It's a text alert only. So many of them, it was SJC vaccine. We have since retired that Nixle. Okay. But what it is you signed up via your cell phone and you receive texts. Only text messages.
And I just want to make sure folks know that this is not the same thing.
It is not the same thing at all.
And this is not Code Red, which was the old system.
Mm-hmm.
And the city, in the aftermath of the fall storm surges that we had a huge storm surge that came in with a nor'easter, and then we had a flash flood event the very next weekend. So the city also has a city-specific alert system, and that is strictly texting. And if folks wanted to do that, they would send the text message St. Aug Alerts to the number 888-777. So, which brings me to an interesting point between us. We have a lot of combined messaging efforts between ourselves and the county. We have social media, you have social media. So let's talk about that a little bit. Messaging, information, how do I get my information? That's changed dramatically in the last couple of years even.
Yeah, and I think one of the important things that folks need to realize is, especially during a hurricane-type situation, all of that public information is sitting inside the EOS. All of those folks, county, city, beach, law enforcement, all of those public information folks are sitting in a room in the EOC crafting that very same singular message. Right. So we are all on the same page with the same message.
We do, and I sit in that room.
Yes.
And we used to say the city does the city thing until we're with the county until we're not. So we do have some of our own unique messaging needs in the city. But when it really comes right down to it, we are in that room, and there is a unified message. So we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram for the city, as well as fire, police, and marina. I know the county has the county government, as well as St. Johns County Emergency Management. So there are lots of places locally, platforms, if you will, to follow to get that information. But we want you to listen locally.
Yes. Well, and we're also, there's a lot of social media. And anybody that wants can make themselves a social media page. And what we warn folks against is there's quite a few social media, I don't know, I think we call them influencers or something. And they portray themselves as weather people or hurricane experts.
They mean well.
They mean well. And some of them may have some knowledge. But what we need everyone to be very careful is we need you to make sure you get your messaging and official forecast from the National Hurricane Center and the National Weather Service. Our National Weather Service office is the National Weather Service Jacksonville. When we make any decisions regarding hurricanes and weather, the only people we speak with in our weather forecast come from the National Weather Service Jacksonville and the National Hurricane Center, which is actually located in Miami. Those are your absolute official places to receive information regarding weather.
And the National Weather Service Jacksonville is also on Twitter.
They're also on Facebook.
And Facebook.
Yes, they are.
They have really great messaging. I don't know it right now. I will share it with the in our posts about this interview. But they have a web URL that is their PowerPoint, and it is the same exact URL. If I clicked on it today, it would show me the latest PowerPoint presentation that we get in the EOC.
Yes.
So I share that with all of my friends because, like you said previously, you and I are working when everyone else is evacuating. We've already gotten it taken care of. But I send that link to my friends and I say, if you want to know what I know, this is the link to that PowerPoint.
Absolutely. And what's fun about that is that's every day. Now, during a hurricane, there's a hurricane messaging piece of it. But if you go click that link today, you will see today and tomorrow's weather, like a full brief on today and tomorrow's weather.
What's happening?
Yes. So if we're having a nor'easter or something, you click that link and that weather is always there, same link, and you get that. It's the multimedia briefing.
Every day.
Every day.
If you are just now tuning in, you're listening to The Break Room. I'm Melissa Whistle, Communications Director for the City of St. Augustine. This week, once again, I have the pleasure of speaking with Kelly Wilson. She is the St. Johns County Emergency Management Deputy Director. We are talking about hurricane season, and it's more than just hurricanes. It's about preparedness. It's about monitoring the weather. It's about where you get your information. So before we close out here today, Kelly, I want to go back. The last time you were here, we were talking about evacuation zones, knowing your zone, best practices of preparing. I want to make sure we remind folks yet again, I don't think we can say it too much. When I go to evacuate, how far do I go? I always feel like when you guys say, okay, everybody needs to evacuate because I don't get to, because I go to work, and my family says, well, where should I go? You don't have to go to Atlanta.
You don't. And so, so like we talked about the last time, know your zone. So go to our website, click the know your zone. Okay, you figured it out. I live in zone A or B or whichever zone you live in. Now what? Well, you can go to one of our shelters as a last resort. You will see the shelters on our website. But more importantly, we strongly recommend make a friend. Do you have a friend that lives over at Wargolf Village or somewhere just generally in the middle of the county? Evacuate to their home. You're going to be far more comfortable. You're also not going to sit in hours and hours of traffic. So many people we talk to, they're evacuating all the way to Gainesville.
Right.
That's not necessary. We just need you out of the storm surge. The reason we're evacuating you is for that storm surge. Another important note is a lot of folks go to a hotel. Call that hotel before you just head on out. Make sure they're not already booked up. We have folks that tell us they're going to go to Orlando. Well, I can tell you an interesting story here is I remember Hurricane Irma, which would have been 2017. I left the EOC about 10 o'clock at night because Irma, you'll remember, came up and started in the Keys and literally was one of the biggest storms I've ever seen. As it passed over Florida, it was so large in size. Right. It was both in the Atlantic and the Gulf while coming up the middle of
Yeah,
the
you
state.
couldn't see the state on the map.
Yeah, it never lost most of its punch. So I left the EOC about 10 o'clock at night because we had our evacuation planned. I remember coming up the road by the EOC, runs next to 95.
Right.
Traffic northbound was at a standstill. It was a parking lot, and we weren't evacuating for another day and a half. So those are the things you have to remember. If South Florida, when they're coming, is going to evacuate first,
Right.
they're all going north. And I guess they're all going to Atlanta. Maybe they're going to the aquarium. I don't know. It's a delightful aquarium.
Yeah.
But those people all also have to come back.
Right. And I don't want anybody thinking I'm laughing because it's not funny when you're in that. But I guess that's really more my point is don't feel like you have to like pack up everything and, head up to the mountains of Tennessee.
Or drive as far as Tallahassee or something. You really don't. We need you to get out of that evacuation zone.
Get to high
That's
ground.
it. We used to tell folks, go tens of miles, not hundreds of miles.
Right.
Everybody does enjoy going to Orlando, but I'll tell you this, during Irma, they fought their way to Orlando and then sat in Orlando without power too.
Right.
So, just think about it. Maybe just go make a hotel reservation, Clay County or Putnam County, or just get out of that storm surge. Don't go too far.
Right. And it's also quicker to get home.
It's much quicker to get home once we open that. But also, that's another important point. We have to lift that evacuation zone before you go home. The bridges for a while have to be once we have a storm, they have to be inspected before we allow, and it's purely for safety, to make sure it's safe for you to go home.
And if one bridge gets closed, do they all get closed? Or do we close them just based on...
The bridges are closed based on wind speed.
Okay.
And really, we just block access to those bridges.
Okay.
But once that happens, the Department of Transportation inspects those bridges for us.
I recall both during Matthew in particular, people were really frustrated about not being able to come home when they wanted to. And again, you had those folks that stayed and they were texting all their friends saying, hey, it's clear as a bell. It's beautiful here. You should come home. And again, not looking at those official messaging channels to know when it really was safe and it was good to come home because we can't let you back.
No, because the roads are covered in debris. And you may remember for Matthew, it was at least a week after Matthew, the 206 bridge was closed because the approach to the bridge was washed out and it was unsafe. The Shands Bridge was also closed for maybe 2 days afterwards because the same problem. They had the approach washed out. So our number one goal is to keep you safe.
Right. And we're going to let you back as soon as we can. We promise. We promise.
We want you to come home.
But that is the most common thing when we do have that evacuation. I think the biggest point of our message today is getting your messaging close to home. Follow the city, the county, emergency management. We're on all those social media channels. The county does a really great job. Anytime a press release goes out, they put it right on that homepage under the hurricane page whenever there is a named storm. So we just want everybody to be prepared.
We do.
And listen.
Yeah, we want you to keep track of it, pay attention, but don't panic. Just get yourself ready now, and then you won't need to panic because you'll have your stuff, you'll be prepared, and you'll know exactly what you're going to do. And then we're all going to pray that we don't have to do any of it this hurricane season.
Amen.
We would all like a nice, quiet summer.
Yes,
and fall.
I agree. Kelly, again, thank you for coming to the break room. It's always a great conversation.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
If you missed part of this broadcast and want to go back and listen from the beginning and get all this great information, catch us on the website at citysainogradio.com. As we wrap up another edition of The Break Room, I hope we answered your questions. If we didn't, take a minute and send us an email to info@citysanog.com. We want to keep you informed about what's happening in and around the city, and most importantly, that you hear it here from the people doing the work and making it happen every day. Remember that you can follow us, stay connected with us on any of our social media platforms. You'll find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at City St. Aug. Thanks again for tuning in. Until next time.
You've been listening to The Break Room, a weekly program addressing projects and programs offered by the City of St. Augustine. Join us each week as the city's communications director, Melissa Whistle, has in-depth conversations with the people who make our town work to meet the needs of our community. The Break Room is produced by communications specialist for the City of St. Augustine, Cindy Walker, and engineered by Flagler College communication major, Lily McNeil. See you at this time next week for another edition of The Break Room.